Hey, welcome to Top Dog Tips, no BS business advice, where we talk to movers, shakers, and innovators behind successful businesses. Today's guest is a man who's not afraid to call himself an idiot because it actually stands for I did it over time. So joining me is Hugh Adamson, founder and CEO of Incorporations, Inc., a company helping entrepreneurs across Canada protect their business and personal assets through affordable, accessible legal services. But you know what? Beyond the business, Hugh's story is about resilience, faith, and the power of hope, a philosophy that's shaped his success both personally and professionally. So it's going to be a great show. Enjoy. Hey, Hugh, welcome to the show.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for having me on. Really looking forward to this.
So, Hugh, your story starts with a very personal lesson in perseverance. You even turned I did it over time into your signature philosophy. Can you share how your early childhood experience of failing beginner swimming lessons shaped the way you approach business and life today?
Sure. I jokingly say that I was traumatized when I was 5 years old by my mother. My mom was the swimming instructor and trainer of swimming instructors for all of Northern Alberta, Northwest Territories. And when I was learning to swim, I failed beginner's swim 11 times over one summer. And to get a beginner's badge, it's not hard. You have to put your face in the water and then float on your front, float on your back. I couldn't float. And there's a secret to it, but my mom didn't ever tell me that secret. She wanted me to discover it for myself. And that secret was I need to fill my lungs with a big breath of air, and then I could stay on top of the water. Oh,
when did you realize this idea of failing forward to actually become the foundation of your professional success?
It's something that my mom taught me that I didn't really realize until much later. But she taught me that I wasn't a failure. I could fail something, but I wasn't a failure until I stopped trying. And with the great deal of faith in me and love, an intense love, she continued to encourage me and to say, just try again, try one more time. You can do it. And eventually I did.
Yeah, nice. So how does this message resonate with entrepreneurs today who might be facing their own struggles right now?
So what I learned from that experience was a resilience, that you just have to keep trying. And if you make a mistake and you fail, what can you learn from that failure and apply to the next attempt? You have to have hope and faith in yourself and an indefatigable resilience.
You've actually written beautifully about hope being a foundation of resilience, and it actually pulls faith and love along. So that's a unique way to think about success. How has hope guided you business decisions throughout, tough seasons?
Yeah. So I counted them up. I've had 16 businesses over the last 55 years, and really only a handful have been successful. But those were because of a never giving up hope, or the ones that I had the greatest belief in, that as long as I didn't give up hope, as long as I kept trying, those few businesses that succeeded because of hope and faith.
In the past, when things fell apart, is usually because you actually did lose hope. So fast forward today through the couple successes you have, and even today, how do you now protect that mindset as a leader?
So it is hard, but for me, hope became an acronym through helping others. And that is what you need to do. You need to help others produce excellence, which is what the acronym stands for me. And when I can help my colleagues and the people that work with me to produce excellence, then I almost have to succeed. It's not me, it's the team and this idea that you just got to keep trying.
I love that. Help others produce excellence. Cool. Very cool. Okay, so flipping gears a little bit, Hugh. You spent over 20 years in legal services, helping business owners incorporate and stay compliant. How did you transition from a traditional legal path to founding Incorporations?
That wasn't something I wanted to do. That's something that happened to me. I burned out as a lawyer, and I started recruiting lawyers to see if I could help lawyers not experience the things I experienced as a lawyer. And as a recruiter, I did that for, now about almost 20 years. But prior to the pandemic, I'd been doing that for about 16 years, when during the pandemic, recruiting just fell off a cliff. The law firms and a lot of businesses were operating in fear, and nobody was hiring, particularly no law firms were hiring lawyers. But at the same time, I was given an opportunity to purchase a corporate registry services business. That is what saved myself and my business partner, Gordon. We were able to potentially purchase this business in March of 2020.
So again, going and purchasing this business, it was a game changer. What gap did you see in the market that others were missing? Where could you succeed where others had not?
Well, for a lot of people during the pandemic, their side gig became their main gig because they couldn't go to work or they were laid off or, everybody was struggling. And one of the concerns that I saw was that starting a business is expensive. Your accounting fees, legal fees. What we wanted to do was figure out a way to make it fast, cheap, and good. Most lawyers and other professionals will tell you, yes, fast, cheap, and good are ideal, but pick two. You can't have all three. And we said, why not? Why is that impossible? And so what we figured out was that, before we get there, when we went to purchase this business, we found that it wasn't what it was supposed to be. The owner was, how do I say this? I don't think, the only thing I can say is he was a fraudster who didn't disclose how much in debt this company was. It was massively in debt, and the purchase fell through. But we saw a model there that could work, that if we could do these things fast, cheap, and good all at once, and we could help businesses protect themselves and get started properly without a great deal of cost.
Cool. So, I get that. I understand how that's turned into your mission. So maybe walk us through how Incorporations Inc. achieves that and why that simplicity is such a game changer for small business owners.
Well, as a lawyer, we would charge a significant amount of money to get a company started, with thousands of dollars on most occasions. And it is somewhat complex. However, with Incorporations Inc., when we started out, we saw this opportunity to provide that service, basic, simple legal services, such as an incorporation or doing an annual return for your corporation to keep your company going. Most small businesses don't do that because it's too expensive and too complex, or they will go to a corporate registry and try and do it themselves, and it's not done properly. So to make it fast, and we have a format of filling in a simple form with your name and address, and we'll guide you through it. We have a very accomplished, highly experienced team of corporate paralegals that guide you through the process in about 20 minutes, half an hour, and we can get that corporation done within a few hours or at most overnight. It is good and it is fast. And then thirdly, we keep it to what we feel is the lowest possible price, just for a few $100s. You can have your incorporation and have it done properly and quickly.
That's a game changer, right? I know it's just from experience. It usually doesn't happen that fast. So, good on you for bringing that service to the marketplace. So, one of my favorite stories that you submitted was the one about helping a 5-person accounting firm complete over, hundreds of annual returns in a very short period of time when everybody else was saying it couldn't be done. So maybe share a little bit of that story. What was the situation? What was the problem? And what was the outcome?
Well, firstly, one of my favorite quotes is George Bernard Shaw, who said, "The people who tell you something is impossible should get out of the way or stop interrupting those who are doing it."
Yeah.
And so with this was a client that we were doing a few incorporations for. This client, accounting firm, did incorporations and helped clients across Canada. And they were dealing with a fairly large law firm down east that they needed to do about 100 annual returns or updates to the corporations. And the accounting firm was advised that this was going to take at least a month, and there was going to be a great deal of due diligence involved and a lot of ground work to get it done. But they're talking, probably tens of thousands of dollars. And what we discovered by talking to the client was really all they needed to do was, for each of these operations, was just file the forms and make sure that they were compliant. If we could do that quickly, if there was corrections that needed to be done later, we could do that later, or they could have their law firm do that later. But at least we would protect their clients from being struck. So with our team of paralegals, we were able to get those forms filed in a matter of about 3 days, I think. But over a 3-day period, we were able to get them all back. They were still in business.
That's a great story. So from what I'm hearing is you listened to what the clients needed, understood what their problem was, and utilized your expertise and your experience to come up with a solution to satisfy the biggest part of the problem. which was just getting them filed. So that's business 101. I can see why you're successful. I guess from that aspect, how did that success story ripple out? What did it do to your reputation in the industry?
It was a lesson for us as well, in that you do have to first listen to your clients, listen intently to what they really need, and don't jump to conclusions to what you think they need. That came to another acronym, and that was you have to operate your business with love. And I stole this from a good friend of mine, Darren Lemke, who was at Approach Management, who taught me love means to listen first. And a lot of lawyers aren't really good at listening, me included. The second thing is observe, right? Find out if what your client is saying is congruent with what they're trying to do or what they are doing. And then after you've done that and you think you have an understanding of what's going on and maybe a potential solution, you have to validate, because quite often your perception could be wrong. And so you have to ask questions. I think this is what you said. Is this what you mean? I think your problem is, in this case, an impending, potentially being struck from corporate registry. And after you asked a few questions, they didn't need the big complex solution. They just needed something simple. So by validating what we thought was going on, then we were able to get a good solution. And then once you're there, once you've validated, then in business, execute that plan. Listen, observe, validate, execute. But in relationships, I find a better word is encourage. You need to encourage the people you work with. You need to encourage the relationships you have within your colleagues and your employees. Tell them when they're doing something good. Never, ever criticize. Find a way to say what you want to say with encouragement positively.
Excellent. Love. You're full of acronyms, man.
Yeah. It helps me remember this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, for sure. So, okay. You know what, Hugh? Many people feel that legal services are expensive and hard to understand. So, is that a misconception, or why do entrepreneurs still have those concerns about incorporation and other legal compliance?
Sometimes it is complex and hard to understand, and you do need lawyers to help you with that. So if you have a complex problem, go talk to your lawyer and talk to your financial advisor and your accountant and make sure you understand what the problem is. But for the basic things, we can provide those services. And lawyers make good money because they're well trained and experienced and they have great knowledge. But I like to say, when I was practicing law, is we all love Latin phrases. Let's see, mutatis mutandis, ceratus paribus, and res ipsa loquitur are three of my favorites. But if you put those three together, they mean all things being equal, nothing will change until it becomes necessary. That is evident in itself.
Yeah, it reminds me, speaking Latin, it reminds me of the phrase I learned a long time ago is, where there's mystery, there's margin. And if it's mysteriously to me, then you get the margin. Once I understand it, then I get the margin back. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So, if everything was plain and simple, you wouldn't need lawyers, but
yeah,
you do.
Okay. So let's talk about the incorporating. So what's a common mistake entrepreneurs make when managing their corporate records, and what should they be doing to avoid it?
Firstly, there's two things: failing to incorporate and then failing to maintain that corporation. So if you're operating a business that's not incorporated, you're personally liable for whatever happens. So if you have creditors, the creditors can come after your personal assets. If something bad happens, like something explodes, or if you're a barber and you cut somebody's ear, you're personally liable for that damage to either a personal injury or damage to somebody's property or assets. By incorporating, the corporation is liable.
Okay, that's pretty clear, actionable advice, right? It's practical. If you're starting a business, incorporate first. So maybe if you give an example or tell a story where somebody did not incorporate and it came back to provide intended consequences. Share a story with us.
If the barber was a good actual story, an actual incident that happened. I was representing a barber who was just renting a chair in another barbershop's business, and he did really badly damage somebody's ear, and he was liable for, I can't remember the actual settlement number, but it was pretty close to $100,000 for disfiguring this person. Whereas if he had been incorporated, and if he, before he went and did that chair lease, had the corporation sign the chair lease and operate his services through his corporation, he could have wound up his company and walked away. without losing any personal money. This guy lost his house.
Wow, that's a pretty harsh lesson. Okay, so tell me, so for our listeners who are just getting started or looking for that next step, what other actionable tips would you share to help them kind of protect their business or themselves?
So do talk to your advisors, your lawyer, your accountant, your financial services provider, an insurance company, and then before you start out, develop a plan and incorporate. Do that before you do anything. Some people will tell you don't need to incorporate until you're making $1 million a year. But the good advisors will tell you that you incorporate to protect yourself from liability to creditors or liability from damage.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Some great words of wisdom, come from the depths of experience. So let's again change it up a little bit. Talk a little bit about leadership. So you said that leaders today need to emphasize hope, not division. In today's world of constant change and uncertainty, how can business owners model that kind of leadership within their teams?
Well, a leader needs to learn to unite rather than divide. And, a leader should inspire others with hope, helping others produce excellence. And if we look at what's going on in the country or our neighbors' countries, there's a lot of creation of division and dividing people to stay in power. And actually, there was a phrase that comes from the Bible: a house divided cannot stand by itself. And this was most famously quoted by Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War when the country was being ripped apart. And it seems that same experience is happening now. There's divisions that are being created, some of them false divisions, that it's a model we should not try to emulate. We need to learn how to unite each other. Like, how can we resolve disagreements or disputes and stay united? Respect the other person's opinion and figure out how to move forward in a united way.
I agreed 100%, but maybe let's bring it down to a little practicality. How do you personally lead with hope and faith, even when business challenges are feeling overwhelming?
So I'm going to use another acronym for faith is follow always instructions of the heart. That gut feeling that you get when you're doing something wrong or something right, that you have an instinct. I like to call it the helper, like that the helper that we are all given will lead you. Overthink it. What does it feel like the right thing to do is? And if you're leading with love and hope, and you learn to follow the instructions of that helper, then you almost have to succeed. Another thing that I learned many years ago was something called shepherd leadership, where you have to learn to serve the people that you're working for, or the people that you're working with, or the people that are working for you. You learn that you need to serve their needs first before your own. And if you can do that, then those people that are working with you will understand what it is that you want to do, and you'll get their needs met first, and they will do the same for you. So if you're operating as a shepherd leader, I don't know if you've ever seen sheep herder with his flock. You'll walk from behind, and the sheep are in front. So that's what I like to emulate.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I also like to say that the people you work with, this isn't corny, but the people you work with don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah. So I've heard that in the past, and it's you're right. At the first glance, it's like, oh, that's a little corny, but it's so true. So if you're able to put that into practice, I think it produces some great dividends. So let's talk a little bit about your book, Why Idiots Succeed. What you shared, it takes this philosophy even further, blending business, mindset, and life lessons. So what inspired you to write it, and what do you hope readers take away from it?
Well, as you said at the beginning, for me, IDEA is an acronym. It means I did it over time, sometimes with an F in front for finally. So if you see F on my business cards, that's what it means. Now, I've made a lot of mistakes over time. And my family, has always told me, such a smart guy, why you do such stupid things? It's because I needed to learn a lesson. And with every mistake, I've gone back and said, why did that happen? Why did that fail? And how can I implement that into my next attempt so that I can maybe do better? And finally, I did it over time, because with God's grace, I'm starting to see some abundance. And I've tried, and I've not always successfully, but I've tried to implement these things that I talk about into the way I operate the business I'm in.
Excellent. Okay. So wrapping things up, Hugh, your journey from setbacks to success, from fear to faith, really embodies what it means to be a resilient entrepreneur. So for our listeners, if you're a business owner or advisor looking to get incorporated and protect what you've built, visit incorporationsinc.ca. And for a limited time, you're offering a special deal to our viewers.
Yeah, so from now until the end of the year, we'll give you a further reduction in our already low prices. I'm not a cart salesman, so I can't do that right. But we're going to give you 10% off on top. Come and talk to us. We'd love to help you.
Thanks for joining us, Hugh, and for reminding us that hope really is the foundation of resilience.
Absolutely. Thanks, Greg. This has been wonderful. I appreciate the opportunity.
So if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with another business owner who could use a little extra hope and maybe a little bit of legal protection too. So until next time, this is Greg Belanger, Top Dog, signing off. Hey, thanks for listening to today's episode of Top Dog Tips. You want more Top Dog tips? Head over to yyccalgarybusiness.ca and subscribe so you never miss another episode. So if you have someone in mind who should be on our show, tap the Be a Guest link on our homepage to apply. And if you're looking to raise your profile in your Calgary business community, join the YYC Calgary Business Network by signing up for a free business listing, and also check out our shop club designed to drive even more visibility and sales to your business. So until next time, stay visible, stay positive, and keep leading the pack. This is the Top Dog, Greg Belanger, signing off.